Good morning, YouTube people. Hope you're well. I think you can see me. Yeah, I'm rocking my Black Sabbath shirt today because today is all about music. And I hope you're having a good morning or a good night or a good evening wherever you are. I tend to make these videos really on the cusp when I'm like getting in the shower, coming out of the shower. So I promise in the future to be more prepared, better looking. But I believe in the generation of way too much concern about the way you look that it's better to just not give a shit. So just love who you are. So I hope you guys are doing well. I got an interesting question from a person in Europe. Excuse me. The air's pretty bad here in Asia right now. We're having what we call yellow dust. So there's all this pollution that comes in, and unfortunately I have to breathe it in. So I'm doing my best to stay healthy, get my yoga mind. So anyway, I got a question from Switzerland. Someone asked me, how important does music play a part in your life in terms of motivation? Because I'm always rocking t-shirts, and I do play in a band. That is my livelihood. That is my life. That is what I do. I teach music. I play music, and I came so close to success. And I'll get there again. But anyway, to comment on Henri in Switzerland, music does play an important part in my life for motivation, and I think that it should also play an important part in your life. I'm only going to speak about my experience. I grew up in New York City with Italian parents, and where I grew up was predominantly dominated by very alpha male Italian Americans. And so heavy metal and rock and roll and punk rock, which were a form of escape for me, was looked down upon. So I had to fight for my music, so to speak. So heavy metal and hard rock and punk rock was where I found refuge. I would go down to these old clubs when I was 12 years old and hang out with all these old punks that were well in their late 30s and 40s as a 12-year-old kid, and hang out with these old punks and metalheads, sound engineers, and hang out with them because I felt like they understood me more than these other guys who were concerned with other pursuits like drugs and alcohol and making all this cash to do horrible things with, which wasn't really my scene. My scene was rocking out and headbanging and mosh pitting, and I found a lot of refuge in that. And and I used to take great offense when people would tell me, "You're listening to the devil's music," and I would tell my teachers, "It's not the devil's music. It's making me happy. It's making me find inner peace." And heavy metal and punk rock brought me to places of understanding, and it got me in touch with vegetarianism, Buddhism, yoga, traveling the world, staying away from drugs and alcohol, getting sober, all of that stuff. I thought was quite positive, which was really promoted in the metal and punk rock community. So I thought it has made me a better person. Still to this day, as a 33-year-old man, I cannot start the day without listening to music that's heavy metal, punk rock, jazz, classical music, African music, Cuban music, whatever it is. I find inspiration from it, and I hope you do as well. It will push you and motivate you and inspire you. So I created a top 10 list because Henri's message wanted to know what kind of music I also listen to. I listen to a variety of music, but mostly my knowledge is very specific to heavy metal and punk rock. I do love blues, and I love jazz. I love African music. I'm really into Cuban music these days, and I love Brazilian music. So I'm gonna excuse me, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna make I made a little list here of albums. Yes, I'm old school. Albums. Yes, I still collect tapes and vinyls and CDs, because that's how we did things in New York City in the underground scene. We would trade tapes. Yeah, for all you kids out there. All right, well, before the MP3s. So I made a top 10 list. Yes, I'm not even using a digital device. I write things down on paper. So I wrote down a top 10, not specific order. These are just albums that get me going and motivate me and push me to want to change the world, so to speak, change my world and go after my dreams and become a better songwriter and become just a better a better person in society, I guess, you know. They also inspire me to work out harder. So you can use these albums, or you can find top albums that really speak to you. But these are the albums that speak to me, as I am referring to Henri's question from Switzerland. Thank you so much for asking that question. Loads of love. So here we go. Number, in no specific order. So I put number 1 here, Black Sabbath, Masters of Reality. I love Black Sabbath. I think Ozzy, and I think Geezer, I think Award, I think Tony Iommi. I think they're just one of the tightest bands of all time. And I think Masters of Reality is really cool. The opening track, Sweet Leaf, is such a cool song. The album is just a great driving album. It'll just put you in a positive mood, and you just feel relaxed when you listen to it. I know it's a weird thing to say about with heavy metal and hard rock. It'll make you feel relaxed, but it really does. It makes me feel happy. So check it out, Black Sabbath, Masters of Reality. Number 2, Iron Maiden, Fear of the Dark. When I hear the epicness of that album, when I hear Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden just rip out into Fear of the Dark, I have a constant fear that something's always near, fear of the dark. It's an epic album from start to finish, and it's a great album, I think, in the time that it came out, because you had grunge music and you had thrash metal, and Iron Maiden were still doing the same thing that Iron Maiden does, just making epic metal. And at that time, that music was kind of looked down upon, but that they were able to thrive and have success on it by not changing who they were is a testament to their confidence and drive. I think it's an awesome album. Check it out. The Stooges, self-titled album, the first one. It is such an amazing album. When you listen to it, you'll bite your lip. Those grungy riffs from the 60s, from the Detroit 4. They were amazing, the Stooges. And Iggy, what else can you say? Epic album. I love it. The Stooges, self-titled, amazing album. I'm going to run through this really quick. B.B. King live at the Regal. It is such a fun album. Check it out. I think it's the greatest live album ever made. Just my opinion. B.B. King live at the Regal. Motorhead, No Remorse. This is a compilation album, but I think because Motorhead has so much work and so much stuff that they've done, I think that this album is a great album. It always excites me, and it's got my favorite Motorhead song on it, Killed by Death. And it's got some of the funniest lines written in rock history by the late, great Lemmy. Love him. I actually got to meet him, and it was awesome. It was amazing. He's an amazing person, so here for him. And so check that out, No Remorse compilation. Number 6, I have 2 here from this band because I love them so much, and the lead singer, Henri Rollins, actually wrote me an email once, and I was really touched by that. When I had sent him an email, asked him a question, and he had emailed me back. Black Flag, Family Man, and Slip It In. I think Family Man is cool because it was just like a kind of a middle finger. They didn't care what anybody thought. They just decided to do like acid jazz and experimental rock when they were just a punk rock band, and they didn't care what the genre was. They did what they wanted to do. And I think that's the theme with all these albums, is that it's just an attitude of, I'm going to do what I want because I believe in myself. And there's a lot of confidence and self-belief in these albums, which I love. So that's what you get from Family Man. And Slip It In is awesome because there's a lot of spoken word from the great Henri Rollins. He's a fantastic writer. I think he's one of the most underrated American writers. And so do check out his stuff. And he's a great singer, great frontman. Number 7, Thin Lizzy, Jailbreak, which has my favorite rock song of all time on it, Emerald. It's epic from start to finish, and it finishes epically. So check that out from the great Irish band Thin Lizzy, Jailbreak. Great album. Number 8 from Sweden, At the Gates, Slaughter of the Soul. That's a heavy one, but I love it. It will push you. Number 9 with Dio and Richie Blackmore, Rainbow Rising. Epic stuff, Rainbow Rising. And number 10, Gojira Magma. That's a new album. Beautiful album. So anyway, I bow to the God inside of you. Loads of love and peace. I hope these albums inspire you. Ciao, ciao.